Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you had a good week. Once again, this past week was full of action, and I will cover all of that on Monday. Next week starts the heart of earnings season, so I'm going to preview that also. So today, well, let's get this done first of all. Today is April 19th, 2024, and this, of course, is your Friday planning video. I do not offer personal tax or legal advice, but I do look forward to working with you and your team to make things better along those lines. I want to dig right in and talk about, yes, tales from the front lines. This is those thoughts that on some items that I've dealt with this week. First, let's talk about 401k plans. Then we're going to talk a little bit about some other financial literacy. Let's talk about 401ks and details about your employer plans. A recent survey conducted by Beyond Finance polled 2,000 Americans, and wow, we really have some work to do. How does it feel to be part of the 57%? Yes, 43% of respondents did not know what a 401k was. That number's weird, but in a moment we'll talk about some of the other items that came from that survey. You may or may not be as surprised as I was. First, back to the 401k. This week I worked on recovering old, lost 401k accounts from old employers. There is some good news coming, so they say. This is such an issue that even the Secure Act 2.0 actually addressed it, and there was a part of the bill that will set up a clearinghouse for lost 401ks. Now, I've tried the abandoned property thing on a state-by-state basis, and it doesn't work so well. So, well, I have no idea how they think they're going to do this, but we'll see what they do. There are currently over there is currently over $1.5 trillion in assets that are in those forgotten 401k plans, 29 million accounts, up 20% since just since May of 2021. In the meantime, we're pretty good at our own detective work. There is one thing you could do right now to help prevent your 401k from getting lost. Call them or go online and set your personal phone number and your personal email as the contact information. So many people are going to use their office email and office phone number when they leave, yep, you got it. You're locked out of that email and no more phone on that one. So they have a hard time finding you. So a simple solution, avoid that, change those numbers now. Otherwise, remember that you have choices with your old 401k plans, and I want to review those. First, you can do nothing. Leave it with your old employer if that's permitted. Next, you may be able to transfer the money into your new employer's plan. Also, you can roll over the account into an IRA, traditional for traditional part, and Roth for the Roth part of the plan. And you can also cash out and take a taxable distribution. In some cases, there could be other options. You should check with the plan on that. There are pros and cons to each of the above actions, so we should discuss this if this comes to you. If you needed a few more reasons to address this, a recent study by Capitalize points out some additional facts. Your forgotten account may be getting higher fees and also have the risk of misallocation, obviously the result of not having eyes on it. Finally, if your company goes out of business, it may be more difficult to find your forgotten account. So please reach out. We can discuss. I will remind you that I do have a new way to bring your retirement plans, sometimes your largest asset, into your planning process directly. Please ask me about this. This is new and is helping a lot of people with the planning that much closer to a complete look at your assets. Okay, one more before the weekend. If you are the non-spouse beneficiary of an IRA and your loved one has passed in the last few years, you probably know by now that inherited IRAs are no longer subject to the stretch provision that allowed smaller withdrawals for longer periods of time. That was replaced during the Secure Act, the first one, where there was a change that requires all of the money in that IRA to be withdrawn by the heirs by December 31st of the 10th year. There was one part of that law that is still confusing to all, and that was the RMD, the required minimum distributions, and if they still need to be taken. In February 2022, the IRS proposed a rule that said, yes, if the IRA holder was taking RMD at the time they passed, then you need to keep doing it. There were enough complaints that once again, details need to be finalized. So the reprieve on this has once again been extended through 2024. Let's talk about that if you're part of that group. Finally, low cost basis stock, otherwise known as highly appreciated stock or stocks that you've done very well on. And not just stocks, obviously mutual funds, ETFs, any holdings that you have. As we move into Q2 and we've started working with your tax advisor to review your 2023 tax returns, let's also review with them what options are available to minimize your tax liability. And in most cases, diversify and lower overall single company risk. So great. The weekend's here. Monday will be an important market update video, as most are these days. And if you have questions about some of the stuff we mentioned today or anything, please give me a call. Have a great weekend.